Hi, welcome to a creative embodiment experience. And I want to share with you a practice that really opened up my art, my visual art practice, and expanded my spirit. And I remember when I first heard the word mandala, and I was first tasked with creating a mandala, and that was in the summer of 2020. I was in Whitney Freya's Creatively Fit coaching training. And part of that class was to create a mandala. And for me, mandalas at that point was some math, it was geometry, it was repetitive patterns inside of a circle. And I really had no interest. I thought there was a special way that you created a mandala. I didn't understand the point of a mandala. And basically I tried, but then I just let it go. I really just shut down on that. It didn't seem exciting to me, or I didn't really even understand why I would do it. So fast forward to, let's see, it's this summer maybe. And my spiritual director, Karen, she taught a class or a session in my spiritual direction training, and it was on the mandala. And she made it so easy and liberating that I decided to go ahead and give it a go, because what she said was that, she was much more proficient at explaining this. But basically, you needed a circle. And inside that circle, after a period of meditation and prayer, you would just let your pen flow and go. And it really didn't matter what you put in the circle. It was the idea of letting your soul speak through your pen and allowing it movement within that frame of that circle. And I remember in our session, in our plenary session and direction intensive, what I created inside of that circle was, I was able to let go of whether or not it was pretty. Because it wasn't going to be something I sold. It wasn't going to be anything that I shared outside of my group. But I had all these tiny little boxes. It felt disintegrated to me, and it felt like I just had to get something out. And I know that when I wasn't allowing myself to paint, that I would wake up in the middle of the night and just itch to create. Or actually, it was this anxiety. It was a longing inside of me. So I decided after that practice and realizing that I could be free in that circle and knowing that it wasn't going to ever be anything that I shared or showed or tried to sell a product, that I was going to be able to express creatively in a very liberating way. I can't tell you how much liberation there was for me in the ability and knowing that I could create and spend that time creating in service to my soul, in communion with God, and it didn't need to be anything other than what it was in that process. And the mandala really helped me get with that. So I'm going to share with you just some basic tools that I've used and how I've done it. I carry this little kit with me, and actually I don't have the thing that I make the circles with today, because I make circles inside of this little notebook so that I have it to go for me. But all you need is, I keep this beautiful journal that I've had, that I bought, and it's got waterproof paper, and it's a sacred journal to me. And inside you can see where I have kept this series of mandalas that I started. This is in March of this year. And you can see they started very simply with circles. I love circles, and I don't, again, I'm not seeking to label that. I don't really know why, but this came to me, and you can see I didn't color it. I didn't do anything. It was literally just circles inside of a black circle. So these other pages were a little bit more neat. I would often get up after dreaming or after a night's sleep and draw my mandala as part of my spiritual practice in the morning, which was really nice. And you can see like this, I'm not sure where any of this came from. And again, I don't question it. have not taken the step to journal with my mandalas, although that's definitely something you can do. I have seen that with these mandalas, I noticed that I would go back into my art practice, into the studio in here to paint and be much more liberated and free in my painting. It's like I had to get it all out here into this beautiful circle pattern. And now you can see where I've started to get into color. I think this is beautiful, and I don't know what this is. I've got musical notes here, some flowers, nature, and then lots of circles. Very busy. Here is where I did some journaling after creating a mandala. I had created this mandala during a woman's circle where I was an exploration dancing with Lilith. These were mandalas that I created while I was on the road driving back from Charleston. Other mandalas. I come up a lot with this idea of a sphere and then this shape moving into it, into the circle. And lots of musical notes, I find. I played the piano for a long time. I have a piano. I would consider myself a piano player, although I'm not really that awesome at it. I do enjoy it quite a bit. So I have musical notes all through here. This I really like. I don't know what this is or what this means. And these are colors, more eyes. These are women's figures, I believe. And then, well, it just goes on further and further. But, okay, so I've showed this to you because my point is that this is not art that I'm trying to sell. This is an inner exploration. And I invite you along the same. So I have this book. It's dedicated to it. I went ahead and I've created circles. Now, a good way to do circles, you could do circles on the go, which Karen showed. You can keep like a CD or a DVD. You can get those. I actually used the top of a crock pot. It was a perfect circle size for these pages. And so do the circle. And I use these Molotov, these black liners. They are waterproof and they are permanent. I do this because I find if I've tried to draw inside the mandala with a pencil, I erase. And erasing is not really part of the deal. There are no bad lines, there are no bad marks. So giving yourself sort of this restriction is a good thing and makes it easier to do and work with. I carry and keep with me in my little kit also a ruler because I do like to work with straight lines. And you can see where I've used a ruler many times in here. I love the juxtaposition between the straight line and this organic form. So the small ruler comes in handy. And then there's also this really cool tool. It's a French curve, and I enjoy this tool a lot. It allows me to move and to create these really interesting curves, and that's really fun as well. So there's nothing saying that you have to color in, but if you do want to color in your mandala, I love these. They're expensive, but they're very high quality and they're very, they work really well. They're beautiful. It's this Derwent Inktense pencils. So you can see, like this is tangerine. And if you decide that you want to color in, you can color in like a little bit here. And then later, if you want to make it watery, you can just apply some water and spread it around, and it becomes like a watercolor. But I really just like the intense color of these tools. So let's see, that's fun and pretty. And it takes you back to when you're a child and you just, you might just want to color. And you can make anything you want. And that is the part that really I found liberating. Look at this pretty green. And I can outline. And then I can just leave the rest be if I'd like. There's also a more olivey green that I could bring in. Go outside. And that's it. I mean, that's how it works. And that's how I do it anyway. I'd love to hear if you have a practice that you enjoy with mandalas. How I inserted it in my spiritual practice is I would sit down, I relax, I breathe, I say thank you for this day, I invite the holy, and I ready myself to receive whatever I need to hear for that day, and do my reading, my meditation, my prayer. And sometimes in place of my reading, I will do a mandala. It depends on if I've woken up with the urge to create. You know, you could even keep a book like this at the side of your bed and allow yourself then in the middle of the night, if you felt like it, to get up and draw, if that's something that calls to you. It's that practice. And I do encourage and invite you to do this. And you'll notice, I hope, as I did, that it really breaks you open and breaks free from that creative shame and that fear that we can all feel when we are creating. And I pray that there's a time that I go to the canvas and I'm not filled with a little bit of dread, or maybe that's the edge that I need every time I create. I don't know. It does get easier, I hope. It feels like it's gotten easier as I become more control of my tools. I find that my biggest barrier when creating art is my concern about how other people will they like it or not. And there is no doubt that there's a direct correlation, is that the right word? I don't know, between what's happening on the canvas and what's happening in my life. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. It's exactly what happens. And the more at peace I am, and the more in love I am, and the more choosing from love, the better my art is. And that's also part of the beauties you can paint over. So I invite you into this practice of mandala, and I hope that you enjoy it. And I'll see you next time.